Injustice Year 3 kicks off by introducing us to John Constantine, an anti-hero in DC Comics who is an expert at magic. He finds Kilowog beat up and unconscious in a torn-down building and realizes there's currently a war at stake. He rushes over to his daughter Rose and takes her to Dr. Fate's tower to keep her safe. He is greeted by Fate and Zantanna and tells Zantanna he needs her to send him to Detective Chimp. We don't get to see what happens with Constantine and Chimp just yet. Instead, the next thing we see is Constantine in hell talking to Trigon. Constantine tells him he might know where his daughter is and tries to use it as leverage for time off from his eternal torture. Trigon tells him to find his daughter and takes him out of hell. Back at the Hall of Justice, Superman, Sinestro, and Green Lantern try to figure out where all the missing team members are and why their powers are unable to find them. Superman suddenly realizes that there is magic at play. Back at Gotham, Chip and Constantine meet up with Batman, and the three of them take a trip to the location of Raven, where it appears she's being held there by Chip and Constantine. Constantine then reveals his motive for going against Superman. He killed Rose's mom. Meanwhile, Superman is interrogating a guy that works with Batman to find out where the team is. Superman threatens to harm the guy's wife if he doesn't tell him where his team members are. The guy insists he doesn't know where they are, and Sinestro says we'll see. Batman's group huddles up at the house of Jason Blood. They begin talking a plan, which involves a whole lot of magic and other things Harvey Bullock has no idea about. He tries to walk out, saying he doesn't feel comfortable there, but Chimp reels him back in. Clarion's cat Tickle suddenly turns his attention to the door, and everyone realizes something is coming. Jason Blood tries to close the front door and almost transforms into Etrigan. The door then blows off the hinges from what seems like magic. Harvey Bullock is fatally murdered. Then we see the Spectre, in, for lack of a better word, giant form outside the house conjuring up magic. Apparently, Jason Blood has died as well, which means the team is down 2 men, since Etrigan does not have a host. To make it worse, Chimp is also seriously wounded. The team try to gather themselves and formulate a plan. Klarion is able to realize that the Spectre is outside and alerts the team. Batman and Constantine both attempt to lead the team, and Constantine tells Batman he's way in over his head in this world of magic and he's useless. Batman responds by punching him in the face and putting Constantine on his ass. Batman thinks he could talk to the Spectre since they're both quote-unquote good guys. As he goes outside to converse with Spec, Constantine urges Zantanna to teleport them out of there now that the attack is over, and they get out of there, much to the rage of Spectre. He grabs Batman and demands to know what happened, and Zantanna suddenly appears and takes Batman away. The team heads back to the Tower of Fate, where Constantine and Batman talk about what happened, and Constantine basically tells him he said all of that to push Batman into somebody who can stare down the Spectre. The Batman that they need. We finally get to see what Superman is doing to the poor Batman employee at the Hall of Justice. Well, it was really Sinestro torturing the guy. Anyway, Superman actually orders Sinestro to stop and seems content with letting the guy go. Sinestro is able to convince him otherwise, and the torturing continues. The Spectre pays a visit and calls out Shazam for what he perceives to be doubt in Superman's plans. Superman tells him he'll handle it, and to just spill the beans on the new powers working against the team. Constantine and Dr. Fate get into a little spiel after Fate suggests that Rose has magic powers. Batman comes in the middle of this, which causes Constantine to calm down. Constantine then tells Batman to follow him, as he's going to get somebody who could deal with the Spectre. The pair pay a visit to Madame Xanadu and tell her Jason Blood has died, who was a romance of hers. She flips out and starts saying how Constantine is a manipulator, and she knows he's only telling her this to gain something. He and Batman step outside Madame Xanadu's house and have a conversation, in which they express respect for each other, and Constantine tells Bats that they're gonna have to wait 10 minutes and go back inside. When they do go back inside, Madame is ready to help them in order to exact revenge. They tell her the Spectre killed Blood and they're gonna need all the information they could possibly get to take him down. When she starts to perform the magic to find out the information, something takes a hold of her and puts her in shock. She then manages to tell both of them that the Joker is coming. Constantine decides to move Raven's body from its current location without the knowledge of Batman. From the conversation he had with Klarion, it seems this is part of some elaborate plan that Batman wouldn't approve of, but it isn't revealed what it is just yet. Superman and Spectre are in space reflecting on bringing the world peace when something begins to approach them. Spectre tells Superman to let him handle this as this is out of his realm. The astral form of Raven appears and Spectre tries to stop her, but Superman steps in the way and tells him she is one of them. She tells Superman that Constantine and Batman have her somewhere in Gotham. Superman goes after her, ignoring the Spectre to tell him to wait. Superman rescues her, but it's actually Ragman posing as a fake Raven and subduing Superman so Constantine can interrogate him. The Spectre rushes back to the Hall of Justice to tell the team that Superman is gone. They can't figure out a way to locate him, but Superman is able to call for Shazam on his comlink. The team finds out he's in Gotham, and Shazam goes to rescue him. Green Lantern, Sinestro, and Spectre show up shortly afterwards. The Spectre kills Ragman, and suddenly, Constantine has to deal with a pissed off Superman. The team begins to interrogate Constantine on the whereabouts of Raven. Constantine, of course, is being a smartass about it, and almost gets Superman to kill him, until his teammates remind him Constantine is of better use to them alive. They take him back to the Hall of Justice, but on the way there, Deadman possesses Shazam and tells John he's going to rescue him. He then lets go of John, who is caught and teleported out of there by Zantanna. The team wants to know what happened, and then we go into the mind of Shazam, where Billy Batson is currently trying to fight Deadman to get out of his head. Billy yells Shazam, which turns him back to his regular self. Spectre then discovers, along with Shazam and Billy Batson, there is another mind lurking inside that head. He exorcises Deadman from there, who wants to talk to Spectre, but realizes this isn't the real Spectre. Spectre then appears to kill Deadman. Back at the Tower of Fate, Zantanna tends to Constantine, and Batman is pissed. Him and John go back and forth before Zantanna uses magic to shut both of them up and help cooler heads prevail. When she allows them to talk again, Constantine reveals he has to talk to somebody else, Swamp Thing. They head over to his neck of the swamps and ask for his help against Superman, but the Swamp reveals that he's already a Team Superman guy. Constantine and Swamp agree to stay out of each other's way, but once out of earshot, he tells Batman they're going to have to kill Swamp. Meanwhile, Deadman is actually still alive, but his host, Boston Brand, has died. He rushes over to Ramakrishna, who can transfer his spirit to another host. His spirit ends up going to none other than Dick Grayson. Batman's team tries to figure out what is going to happen next, according to the information Madame Xanadu gave them. Chimp finally wakes up and tells the team that the next piece is Wonder Woman waking up from her coma. Dr. Fate suddenly appears and tells them Spectre is meeting with Phantom Stranger, so his attention will be elsewhere for the time being. They conjure up a plan that appears to involve keeping the Wonder Woman in that coma. Phantom Stranger tells Spectre he can't take sides in a fight like this as he is too powerful. The Spectre then tells Stranger he knew he would have to deal with him sooner or later and attacks him. Superman, back at the Hall of Justice, notices the Spectre has gone missing when they are ambushed by Etrigan. Green Lantern and Sinestro hightail it out of there after Sinestro gets seriously wounded, leaving Superman to fight Etrigan one-on-one. In the midst of this, Spectre and Phantom Stranger are on one of Saturn's moons, and Spectre realizes Superman is in trouble. He tries to rush back to help, but Phantom Stranger stops him, or at least tries to, before Spectre laughs in his face and kills him. Etrigan tells Superman he's only fighting him because he made a deal with somebody. Suddenly, he transforms into Batman. Batman sprinkles some dust, which causes Superman to go to sleep, and then he tells him, go to sleep and never wake up from this nightmare again, implying that he's put him to sleep forever. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. This story is a little bit more loaded than both year 1 and year 2. So, I want to make sure that you guys get all the details, and I'm able to explain the different elements of magic and all the occult stuff that is very prominent in year 3 that wasn't in year 1, year 2. As always, tune in next Friday. We're going to have part 2 up here, and I'm going to try to get about 2 videos showcasing some characters that a lot of people in general don't give them their respect, alright? Other than that, you guys have a good rest of the weekend. Gorilla Zod signing out. Later.